Good day! These are the general guidelines of the Bright Side 2020. Number 1. Be on time. Be on board 10 minutes before the scheduled time. Choose a suitable place where you feel active. Use headphones or earphones. Students who will participate in the session must be respectful in the comments section. A certificate of participation or e-certificate will be given after each webinar. This is a complete course for you that observes the Data Privacy Act of 2012. Any act against a person's rights, like video recording without due consent, is a violation of this law. Hello, our dear participants. We will hold a photo contest. These are the guidelines. In the photo opportunity segment of the program, the participants are hereby granted time to take a picture or selfie while watching the webinar. They will be given a hashtag which they will use in the caption upon uploading the pictures to keep the posts on track. Number 3. The photos with the highest likes or reacts shall receive a prize from the organizers. Here is the hashtag. Kindly note down and enjoy.
Good afternoon, dear viewers. We will begin our program in a few minutes. But before that, let us all listen to a few reminders for this afternoon's webinar.
Good day! These are the general guidelines of the Bright Side 2020. Number 1. Be on time. Be on board 10 minutes before the scheduled time. Choose a suitable place where you feel active. Use headphones or earphones. Students who will participate in the session must be respectful in the comments section. A certificate of participation or e-certificate will be given after each webinar. This is a complete course for you that observes the Data Privacy Act of 2012. Any act against a person's rights, like video recording without due consent, is a violation of this law. Hello, our dear participants. We will hold a photo contest. These are the guidelines. In the photo opportunity segment of the program, the participants are hereby granted time to take a picture or selfie while watching the webinar. They will be given a hashtag which they will use in the caption upon uploading the pictures to keep the posts on track. Number 3. The photos with the highest likes or reacts shall receive a prize from the organizers. Here is the hashtag. Kindly note down and enjoy.
Good afternoon again, dear professors and future educators. I am pleased to welcome all of you for this afternoon session of our webinar series. I know that you're all excited to gain more knowledge after our morning webinar session with our skillful and excellent speaker, Dr. Jose Makatangay, with his topic, Multifaceted Roles of Teachers in a Dynamic Educational Landscape. Now, let us all settle and be ready for another fun, exciting, and educational experience. I am Reynalyn Gargitan from the College of Education Arts and Sciences of De La Salle, and I am your host for this afternoon. Together, let us learn and enjoy the adventure of this webinar brought to us by the first ever collaboration of BLSL's Educator Circle and the Batangas State University's Teacher Education Student Council. Welcome everyone to the bright side, unleashing possibilities through the new normal education. To begin our program, let us first ask the guidance of our Almighty Father to be led by Ms. Daniel Atienza from De La Salle PAM.
Let us put ourselves in the most holy presence of God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Dear Almighty and ever-loving God, we glorify and thank your name. You have showered us with so much blessings, and your presence continuously remind us of your faithfulness and guidance. We humbly ask you to shower our speakers today of your greatest inspiration, so that they may share the most of their knowledge, heart and soul to their respective topics. May we also absorb the invaluable knowledge, experiences, and put into practice what we may learn today. We pray that you bless all the committees in charge, that they may be able to fulfill their task responsibly, that the objectives they have set may all be achieved. Your infinite blessing would mean the success of the seminar. May we be living witnesses of your genuine love through the enactment of the knowledge acquired through this activity. Let us pray the Lasallian prayer. I will continue, O my God, to do all my actions for the love of you. Saint John Baptist de La Salle, leave Jesus in our hearts. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Thank you so much, Miss Dania. The best teachers teach from the heart, not from the book. This simply explains that educating does not only mean being knowledgeable, but it comes with the commitment and love towards the passion you chose to pursue. With that, I know that this webinar will be a gateway for us to indeed unleash different possibilities and opportunities, though we are facing this kind of challenge. Therefore, I'm not going to make this any longer. May we call on Mr. Juan Carlos Rosales, Secretary of Teacher Education Student Council, to formally introduce our second speaker for today.
Good afternoon, future educators. I am Juan Carlos Rosales, the Assistant Secretary of Teacher Education Student Council, and I will introduce to you our last but not the least speaker of the Brightside 2020. Our speaker is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Electronics and Communications Engineering of Batangas State University on 2004, where she also finished Master of Science in Electronics and Communication Engineering on 2019. Now, she is pursuing her degree in Doctor of Philosophy in Electronics Engineering. She is also a former lecturer of De La Salle Pa from 2006 to 2010, and now is on a tenured track Instructor 1 of Batangas State University. From 2015 to present, she is the one and only Vice Governor for Internal Affairs, Institute of Electronics Engineer of the Philippines Incorporated, Batangas Chapter. Everyone, let us all welcome our speaker for interactive e-classroom strategies, our very own engineer Janice Peralta.
Thank you, Mr. Juan Carlos. Again, everyone, let us now lend our ears to our dear speaker, Engineer Janice Peralta, to discuss her topic, interactive classroom strategies.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, and thank you for this invitation or this uh, chance na makapag-talk sa inyong ating mga audience. So, before I start, allow me to share my screen. Okay, so thank you for the lovely introduction by Mr. Juan and sa introduction or sa ating ding MC for this day. Okay. So for today, I'm going to discuss all about interactive classroom strategies. So uh, earlier or the morning, umattend na rin kayo ng webinar, and it is all about the roles of the teacher. So for today, we are going as a teacher, how do we conduct an online or how do we conduct interactive classroom? Kasi we all know that this is a different scenario. So let me start. Okay. So as a start, let me share this quote by Albert Einstein. So in the midst of every crisis lies great opportunities. So COVID-19 have become worldwide crisis, and the educator sector have been affected by this crisis. So as you have read in different newspaper or seen in different news na talagang naapektuhan ng education system natin. Marami ang school na nagsara due to low enrollees, and madami din ang mga estudyante na hindi muna talaga pumasok, and madaming faculty or teachers ang nawala ng trabaho. So, from traditional face-to-face delivery of learning, we shifted to flexible learning. So, not really an online learning, but a flexible learning. So, some are blended learning. We have non-online, we have asynchronous activity, and some are fully online or some are fully online and synchronous learning. So with this shift, requires teacher for different strategies. So yung mga ginagawa natin noon ng face-to-face, some are not applicable or some are needed to be modified para maging applicable siya sa ating new normal. So this opens opportunities to the faculty members and teachers and also the students. So madaming nabuksan na opportunities ang pagkakaroon natin ng new learning or new way of or delivering of our learning. So the first thing I'm going to discuss is OERs. So in interactive learning environment, before we proceed with our, let's say, learning management system and how do we conduct, let us first discuss what is an open education resources. So when we say open education resources, according to UNESCO, these are resources or teaching, learning, research materials in any medium that resides in the public domain or have been released under an open license that permits no-cost access. So, as mentioned, this is free information is a fundamental human right. So, yung shifting natin from face-to-face, then go to an online or flexible learning, there are many available OERs. So, hindi naman talaga tayo bubuo or magsisimula from the scratch. But, there are 5 R's in OERs. If you're going to use an OER, you have to check this or you have to check the right of that material. The first one is to retain. So, the retain is the right to make, own, and control the copies of the content. For example, you can download the material, you can duplicate, you can store, and you can manage the material. So that is one R of an OER or one right of an OER. Another is you can reuse. The right to use the content of in a wide range of ways. For example, you can use it in a class, you can use it in your website. Example nito is yung mga nakikita natin na materials from YouTube. You can add it into your materials, you can add it into your website, or you can share the link to your class. Next is revise. It is the right to adapt, adjust, or modify or alter the content itself. For example, is you want to translate. Let's say you found a good material pero nasa ibang language siya. So, ang gagawin mo is you have to revise it in language na applicable sa iyong audience. So, merong OER na pwede siyang i-revise. Then, you can also check if it can be remixed. You can, the right to combine the original and revise the content with other materials. Let's say, gaya ng ginagawa ng ibang bloggers or gaya ng ginagawa ng ibang curator. They collect materials, then they mix their own materials or own example in that materials. So that is, you can also do that in an OER. And the last R of an OER is the redistribute. So it is the right to share copies of the original content and your revision and your remixes. So these are the rights of an OER. So kailangan din nating i-check ano ba yung OER na ginagamit natin. So ito ba is may right ba tayo para siya i-retain lang, i-reuse, i-revise, i-remix, or i-redistribute so that we won't infringe any copyright issues on the process of our teaching. So that is for the OER. Next is, so what are the types of OER? So during this flexible learning, from shifting from face-to-face to online classes or flexible learning, lagi na natin naririnig yung mga OERs. So what is an OER or what are the types of an OERs? So these are some of the types of OERs that we are using. So this include images. So pag sinabi natin open education resources, we can reuse it without any copyright infringement. So pag nag-search kayo kay Google, titingnan nyo lagi yung right or yung usage right ng material na ginagamit nyo. For example, is yung image. Meron siya nakalagay kung siya is for commercial, can be modified, or can be redistributed. So, meron tayong mga options for that one. So, let me show you paano natin ma-check or paano natin makikita. Wait. Paano ninyo makikita na pwede yung inyong materials for or paano mag-search sa Google ng images. So, allow me to share again another screen. This one. So, for example, this one. So, if you're going to search for an image, so let's say you're going to search for an image of education. So there are many images that will show in your result. But you have to check kung pwede nyo ba siyang gamitin as free or wala kayong copyright infringement na walang copyright infringement. So under the settings for advanced search, then we have the education, then down is the usage right. So pipiliin nyo, we have the Creative Commons licenses and so advanced search. So under dito sa Creative Commons licenses, these are OERs or we can use these materials. So once we click advanced search, magbabago na yung mga result ninyo. And this means na itong mga pictures na to is we can reuse these materials without copyright or copyright infringement. So that is one important thing to remember, to always check the rights na ginagamit nyo in searching your or usage right in searching your images for your OERs. So aside from the so aside from this one, let's share again my screen, hindi siya lumabas. Yan. So aside from images, other type of OERs also include videos. So yung iba is binadirect na nila. So they just look for video materials in YouTube or other links, and they paste it or they copy it in their classroom or in their learning management system. Other than is a full course module. So a good example, can you please comment if kita yung slides ko? I think hindi siya kita. Yan. Okay. Okay. So aside from videos, aside from images, we have the videos. And we also have full courses. So there are many websites that offer full courses such as MIT, Open University. We also have the Merlot, and we also have the Khan Academy. So ito yung mga OERs wherein full course na yung pwede mong i-post or pwede mong kunin sa kanila. They have their lectures, their quizzes, and activities. So they also have their suggested activities. We also have tutorials and other and infographics. Next is why do educators use OER? One is that it is flexible and you can redistribute and reuse the content. So, isa sa maganda sa OER, available na siya. Unlike kung gagawa ka pa ng materials mo and mahirap kasi bumuo ng isang lesson. So, it's also good na mag-check tayo or gumamit din tayo ng mga OERs. But always check kung reliable ba yung mga resources nyo. It is up to date. So, just be sure to check kung kailan ba siya in-upload. Kung sa tingin nyo is mga 10 years ago na siya, then look for another OERs na mas updated. Accessible, it can be accessible than print copies. And beneficial to all, both to student and both to faculty. So after the OER, so we already have the content. We can already curate the content of our lessons for our class. The next part would be knowing what they know. So we already started with OERs kasi I want you to have an idea na ano ba yung munang gagawin ko. So, syempre mag-curate ako ng mga materials, ano yung i-discuss ko sa klase, and after that is knowing what they know. Ano ba yung alam na ng estudyante? So, there are two questions in this topic. First, what do I want them to know? As an instructor or as a teacher, ano ba ang gusto niyong malaman ng estudyante niyo? And ano yung evidence of learning that you will accept. So, tatanggapin. Especially nowadays, in a flexible learning, mahirap siguraduhin ang integrity ng sinasubmit ng mga estudyante. For some, they will just, mas madali kasing kumopya ngayon in online learning. Unlike pag nasa face-to-face, madali natin ma-obserbahan or madali natin ma-ensure na tama yung sinasubmit ng mga bata. So these are some of the assessment that I want to discuss for our interactive class. So for interactive class, during the process, we have the formative assessment. And after the process, we can use the summative assessment. So for formative assessment, we can use poll. Pwede tayo mag-question and answer, mag-Q&A, mag-vote kung meron bang naiintindihan. Remember that formative assessment is tinitingnan natin kung meron ba naiintindihan ng mga bata during our class. So you have to So it is more on monitoring the student or student learning to provide feedback. One important thing about flexible learning is you always give feedback to your student. So for example, is using peer and self-assessment. So this is an example of a self and peer assessment using Google Sheets. So I require my students to answer peer and self-assessment. And for this, makikita ko kung sino ba ang hindi masyadong tumutulong sa grupo. And with that, I can give feedback to that student, or I can ask the student kung may problem ba. Baka kasi yung student may problem pala kaya hindi siya masyadong nakakatulong sa group niya. So I can also monitor yung communication niya with their groups or communication with other members of the class. So this is a peer and self-assessment. So as you can see, they'll just have to, I'm using rubric, and they have to grade their self and their group mates. Another is giving feedback. Important thing about monitoring the learning of student is you always give feedback. Kailangan bigyan mo lagi ng feedback yung mga estudyante mo. In this form, I use Google Docs to to highlight and to uh, make comments on their submitted works. Why is it important to give feedback? Unlike na nasa face-to-face tayo, masasabi agad natin na, mali yan, pwede mo yung baguhin. So dito, pag nag-online learning tayo, syempre hindi agad malalaman ng mga estudyante, tama ba itong ginagawa ko? Ano bang kailangan ko? So pag may sinabmit sa inyo, may sinasubmit yung mga estudyante, it is important to always give them feedback so that they would know, may mali pala akong ginagawa dito. Siguro ito kailangang i-recheck ko. So that is giving feedback. You can give feedback in any form, not only in Google Docs, you can give feedback through chat, through comments, through Facebook, or through learning management system, depende kung ano yung platform na ginagamit nyo. So it is always, remember that it is very important to give feedback. As a teacher or as a future teacher, you always have to give feedback to your students. So kahit anong level yung tinuturuan natin, hindi lang siya sa college level applicable. Applicable din siya in any level from elementary, high school, and up to college level that we give feedback to our students. Another is the discussion board or forum. So in this one, we can use Facebook for the discussion board or forum. But in this case, I use the learning management system. So I post question related to our topic, and I let students discuss that topic. So for example, this topic is all about introduction to engineering, and they are going to one of the requirement of this board or discussion board is magpo-post sila ng sagot para sa tanong ko, and they are also required to comment sa kanilang mga kaklase. What are their thoughts? What are their ideas? So, kahit online, is nagkakaroon pa rin ng sharing of ideas between students. So, that is for the discussion forum or discussion board or discussion forum. So, the next one is using rubric. So, I know that you are all familiar with rubric. So, these are usually used kung hindi agad natin quantify yung kanilang mga sagot. For example, unlike kung true or false, pag true, tama siya, then that is 1 point. So, pag essay, syempre, hindi mo naman masasabi na 0 siya or perfect. So, you have to prepare a rubric. So, then you can assign criteria, ano ba yung mga ilalagay natin sa rubric, paano ba natin checkan ng isang essay. So, is it the way ng kanilang pagsusulat? Yung bang kanilang idea is naipaliwanag nila ng ayos sa kanilang essay, and so on. So, we use rubric para mas maging objective yung bibigay natin ng score sa student, and alam nila kung saan ba sila medyo mababa ang grade. So for example is hindi maganda ang pagkakakonstruct ng sentence niya. So possible mababaan ang kanyang score doon sa part na yun, sa sa criteria na lang na yun. Pero magaling siya magsulat. So mataas yung grade niya sa technical, but then sa idea is medyo mababa. So aside from the rubric is we also have assessments such as for the summative, we have the exams. So there are many available online tools for the exams, and one of the hardest part in in this flexible learning is giving exams. Kasi paano mo ma-ensure na uh, hindi nagkakaroon ng cheating or nagiging honest yung mga estudyante in taking the exam. So, we can use different platforms such as Quiz. So, we can set time for their exam. At the same time, this is more interactive because it is real time. So, I don't know kung na-try nyo na, but hopefully, na-try nyo na ang Quiz. So, you are given time for this one and pwede mag-assign si teacher kung kailan nyo lang ma-open yung exams na yon. Another is the use of Google Forms and Microsoft Forms. So we can use them as our exam tools. There are also LMS that they have a readily available platform for exam, such as Canva, Schoology. Meron na sila talagang platform for the examination. I think LaSalle is using Canva if I'm not mistaken. For Batangas State University, we are using Google Classroom. And for other university, I think they are also using other learning management system. So aside from the exams, is another interactive activity that we can use in our class is group works. So paano ba natin ginagawa ang mga group activities? So before, sa face-to-face, ang gagawin lang natin, sige class, group yourself, then prepare this paper, make a report about your activity. So hindi na natin siya magawa hindi na naman natin siya pwedeng gawin sa online. So, mag-iisip ulit tayo ng tools. Paano ba natin gagawin pa rin paano pa rin natin ma-ensure na magkakaroon tayo ng mga group activities? One thing is to use tools that have collaboration features. Such as, these collaboration features are sharing. So, one collaboration tools that are free is the Google products. Sheets, docs, and slides. For example, if you want your class to work on a certain proposal paper, so gusto niyo magsulat sila ng paper, then you can use Google Docs. So kita natin as a teacher, makikita natin yung history, sino yung mga nag-e-edit, and so on. So later, I'll be showing you examples of what I'm discussing. Para mas ma-appreciate nyo itong tools na dinidiscuss ko, I'll be showing you examples and classroom, both in Canva and in Google Classroom. So another is, we also have to ensure the integrity of the learning is we use anti-plagiarism tools. So these are the commonly used anti-plagiarism tools. We have the Turnitin. So, syempre, para masigurado natin na talagang ang mga bata is nagsasubmit ng hindi copy-paste lang, is we check their work. Kasi, di ba, ang tanong nga kanina, so, is what are the evidences that you are going to accept? So, for me, I think their write-ups that pass or being checked by anti-plagiarism tools can be an evidence na talagang may natutunan ang estudyante. Another is, so we have the Turnitin. We also have the originality report feature of the Google Classroom. So that is another tool for anti-plagiarism. So yung originality report, this is a free free feature included in our Google Classroom. So let me show you my Google Classroom and paano ko ba ginawang mas ma-appreciate ng mga estudyante ang aking classroom. So, Okay, so again, this is my classroom, and most of my subject are researches and introduction to engineering. So just to give you an overview kung ano ba yung kailangan ko for these two subjects. For introduction to engineering, more of my activities are on group activities. So I have to think of tools, paano ko ba sila maiigrupo, and the same time, paano ko ma-ensure na ma-achieve nila yung aking objective na they can work in a group or yung team. They can work as a team. So for this one, for introduction to engineering. So this is my classroom, and this is are some of the activities that I created for my classroom. One activity is using the self and peer review. So I always use the self and peer review. So I assign the self and peer review for my students para malaman ko sino ba yung nagwo-work sa kanilang group and sino yung hindi nagpa-participate sa kanilang mga group activities. Another activity is I always post recorded I always post recorded meetings. So I conduct synchronous and asynchronous teaching. So for synchronous, nire-record ko lagi yung aking lecture, and after that, it will be posted in our classroom para ma-view ulit ng mga estudyante. So another is this one. So I use Google Chat for giving feedback to students as well as if they have questions. So, kasi kahit online kasi tayo, meron pa rin mga estudyante na hindi agad sila makakapagtanong sa classroom kasi baka nahihiya sa mga klase pag nagtanong siya. Same thing with face-to-face. So I encourage them to send private message using Google Chat, and they also create this room para naman sa mga group activities nila. For example, in this one, so, their task is to create an engineering design process. So mag-create sila ng video, and they use this tool or Google Chat para dito sila mag-usap. So, ma'am, bakit hindi, you might wonder, why not Facebook or other platform? So, for this one, I prefer Google Chat para mas-sure na yung mga estudyante talaga. And mas madaling i-link yung ibang materials from their Google Drive to Google Chat compared to Facebook Messenger. But then for other students, you can also let them use Messenger. Depende kasi kung saan sila mas madaling makakapag-usap. So this is the Jamboard. So Google Jamboard is this one. This is an interactive tool or collaboration tools para siyang post-it or para siyang wall na pwede ka mag-stick ng yung mga post-it. So, pwede siya by group. So, pwede i-share sa iba't ibang tao. Let me create another jam. Yan. So, for this one, para ma-experience nyo, paano ba naggagawa natin? Pwede ba ako mag-share ng link? Sino ang ating host? Miss Host, can I share a link?
Yes po.
Okay. So, saan ko isasend ang link?
Siguro po sa comment sa private chat
Okay.
na lang.
Okay, sige. I'll be sharing a link. So, this link is, you can try to click the link. And once na maklik nyo yung link is, pwede na tayo mag-collaborate dito sa, yan, meron na po tayong nag-click. So, pwede na tayo mag-collaborate dito sa wall natin. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to ask, how are you feeling today? Okay. So, using this, okay, for those na naka-join na, so anonymous, etong dalawang ito, for those na hindi pa nakaka-join, pwede po tayo mag-join. So, you just have to click this one and try to answer this question na how are you feeling today para makita natin na talagang nagwo-work tayo in teamwork or in live yung sasagot natin. Or we can share our ideas immediately in our Jamboard. So, okay. Naka-view only. Wait lang. Let me check again my sharing. Okay. Okay, sige. You can start editing. So, for those na nandun sa live, na nasa ating nanonood, sa ating mga audience, I think pinost ng ating host yung link so you can join our Jamboard for this one. So, this one, students can still interact with their classmates. And this is good tool for if you're going to have group activities, brainstorming, and if you want to present in group. So, ito ang pinakamagandang, or this is one tool na pwede nating gamitin. So, si Miss Patricia. So, sige, pwede kayong mag-edit din or pwede kayong mag-add. You just have to click the sticky notes or this button. Okay. Yung iba ba nakaka-join? So, pwede po tayo mag-join para ma-experience nyo paano ba natin gagamitin siya, or you can, wow, thank you, we are great na. Okay. Paano natin siya gagamitin pa, or you can think of any other application of this tool in your sa future na pagtuturo ninyo. Okay, so we are great, ma'am. Si Miss Patricia. How about yung iba po? Hopefully gising pa yung iba. Yan. Okay. Maybe we can change this one. Yan. So, okay. Another tool that we can use for our interactive classes. But before I continue, pwede bang please comment your hashtag. I think the hashtag of this webinar is learn more, achieve more, so that I would know kung gising pa ba yung ating mga audience. Please comment in YouTube para makita ko naman if you can still hear me and if you're still awake. Okay. Okay. Next is, so after this one is we also have, I can find the link po. Ay, hindi na makita ang link. Okay. Miss Host, can you post again the link sa YouTube? Okay, thank you, Miss Jovel Rianes. Yan. So, aside from Google, from Jamboard, sige po, yung pwede po, yan. So, pinost na rin ng TE. Yan. So those who are joining our Jamboard, you can answer or you can post something. You can have a shout out in this Jamboard para naman makita nila. So we already have 10 persons or 10 viewers in our Jamboard. Yan. So nagsusulat na sila. So let me try again. Then also. Okay. So this is one tool that we can use in all levels. Kahit sa elementary and college. So, yan. So, hi. Hello. So, another tool. Sige. Mukhang nag-enjoy na sila sa Jamboard. So, we can also maybe have the picture. Let's say, TSC. Hopefully, may picture and TESC. Wala. So, okay. Can attach picture actually and select yan. So this is this is one tool for group activities for brainstorming and so on. Stay safe. Okay. Next, another tool. So, yan. We can use another jam. Kung medyo puno na, pwede tayo sa second jam. Yan. So, dito naman tayo magsusulat. So, another interactive tool or another tool that we can use in our class is Google Sheets. So, this is a spreadsheet version of Google naman. So, kung meron tayong Excel, meron din tayong Google spreadsheet. So, same thing, I will give you a link, but this time, okay, right side. So, let me just change the settings. Miss Host, I will need again your assistance in giving the link to our audience. So for this one, what I want you to do is you are going to answer the question. So for this one, what are your or lagay na lang natin. Anong lunch niyo? So for this one, you're just going to answer the question, ano ang lunch nyo kanina? So just write your name, then, answer. Should be the answer. So hopefully, tama ang sharing ko. Let me check again my sharing. Sorry, hindi pala siya tama. Yan. Hindi siya. Yan. So pwede na mag-edit. So you can edit. Lahat ng naka-receive ng link, pwede na rin po mag-edit. Okay, yon, may nag-hashtag na. So, ibig sabihin, gising pa ang ating mga audience. Thank you for your participation in our activity. So, this next activity, this collaboration tool can also be used for group works naman. So, for example, may pasasagutan kayo and meron kayong kailangang survey, you can use this tool. So, pwede lang nating i-assign kung sino ba magsasagot and uh, uh, pwede nating i-limit yung ating mga audience. So, we have si Miss Jobel. Ano kayang lunch ni Miss Jobel? We also have Ella, Reina, and Daniel, Gon, and Miss Gona. So, I think itong mga to, lumpiang Shanghai. Wow. So, pwede po dito, madami pa pong cell dito. Pwede din dito tayo magsulat. Huwag tayo magsiksikan dito. Baka nagpapatungan. Si Rico Afritada. So, we have different. Pwede po tayo sa ibang cell sagot. So, this is one tool for collaboration. Okay. So, sige, continue lang natin. Let's check. So, meron pa rin nagsasagot. I'm learning a lot po. Thank you. And let's check. Yan, naging magulo na yung ating first jam. So, dito, hi, hello din sa ating nasa Jamboard pa rin. Then, we also have Lomi po. Lomi. Tagali pa siguro to. Kaya lechong manok. Wow, ang sarap naman ng mga lunch. Tinola. Yung lechon is na tinola na. Another collaborative tool that we can use, lumpiang Shanghai. Okay, Ella Bong. Okay. Tinola tsaka manok. So, ano kayang luto ng manok ni Miss Hazel? So, sige, continue lang. Wow! Ang social ni Miss Norian. Buttered shrimp. Next. Another collaborative tool that we can use in our classes are the docs. So actually, this, bakit mas preferred natin ang Google Docs is, pwede tayo mag-edit ng sabay-sabay. So ito naman ang version na word processing or word processor version ng Google. So kung meron tayong MS Word, this is the version ng Google, which is Google Docs. So that is tuyo at kape. And we also have this one. So, but for this, let's say right side again. For this Google Docs, ito naman ang sasagutin natin. Or most memorable travel, kung nag-travel na. Let me just change the settings. So for this one, so kahit po wala kayong G Suite account, kahit basta may personal Gmail account kayo, you can use the Google products, Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Then you can share it to other person, sa iba na meron ding Google, Gmail, or may Google account. So for this one, okay. So ano yung pinaka memorable na travel ninyo? Or kung hindi man siya memorable, again, may sa Miss Host na maganda, can you please again post the link for the Google Docs? Thank you. Yan. So for example is, kung hindi man yung most memorable travel is, kung walang COVID-19, saan dapat kayo ngayon? Or ano na yung mga na-travel yung lugar kung walang COVID-19? So thank you for our host and for the assistance. So, kung hindi man kayo nakapag-travel or kung walang COVID-19, saan kayo dapat, ano na yung mga lugar na na-travel nyo? For me, kung walang COVID-19, dapat nakapag-travel na kami in Singapore. Okay, so yung iba ay Puerto Galera, okay, Hong Kong, wow, si Miss, yan. Let's check again our Google. So yun, ang ating mga fighting. BEED, shout out sa BEED, 1101. Then, continue tayo dito sa ating lunch questions. So, adobo, sinigang, and we have this one. Sa tingloy. Okay. Hindi pa rin ako nakakarating sa tingloy. So, these are the collaborative tools that we can use in our classes. So, especially in my class that I require, most of my activities are on group activities. Kailangan nilang bumuo, kailangan nila mag-brainstorm, kailangan nila laging usap. So, this is a good tool and makikita ko kung sino yung mga gumagawa. So, how can I check? So, in the history, so file, then version history, I can check sino ba yung mga estudyante or sino ba yung mga tao na nag-e-edit ng file ko. So, for this one, for example, si Hazel, si Patricia, si Rico, si Ella, si Mea, and so on and so forth. So, I can easily check, sila lang pala yung mga gumagawa ng activity. Okay. So, what else do we have in our interactive class? So, we have the collaborative tool. We can also have another tool is our videos. So, pwede kayong mag-record ng mga videos nyo. You can have your channel or you can pwede tayong gumawa ng ating mismong material. So, one tool na may suggest ko is the Loom for screen recording. Although, si Microsoft is meron talagang screen recording. So, this one is Loom. So, yan. So, I have Loom in my, let me just change yan. So, this is the Loom. So, I can start recording. So, for example, I will start this one. So, I can record my screen para mas madali kong maipakita sa mga estudyante ano ba ang gusto kong ituro. For example, I want them to teach how to use the Google Docs. So, I can show them, for example, this one, you can use the add-ons, you can use the tools, and so on. So, mas madali kong maiipakita sa mga estudyante ito compared sa kung halimbawa is isusulat ko lamang siya. So, there are things that should be explained through videos and hindi lang enough yung written or mga printed materials. So, para dito, for example, if you want to access your add-ons, just click the add-ons in the menu tab. So, we have the add-ons and you can use add-ons in your Google Docs. So, after that is, I can stop. Then, yan. So, pwede ko na rin ulit panoorin or pwede ko nang i-view yung aking ginawang video. Oh, wait. Takal ko lang sa yan. Then, I can send the link to my students. So, that is one tool that is another tool. So, ito is Loom. So, the web's Loom. Loom.com. So, you can download the Loom or you can use it. Or you can have it in your parang extension sa inyong Chrome. So what other tools that you can use in your classroom? If you're going to use a Google Classroom, you can actually create questions or poll. So for this one, for example, I want to make question. So vote if you want to have a sync class today. So I can conduct an online poll kung gusto ko agad ng, for example, yes, no. If I want a response, I can ask questions. So this is for Google Classroom. But kung hindi Google Classroom ang gamit nyo or iba yung tools na ginagamit ninyo, then, or ibang learning management system, I think they have also materials or feature for questions. So, ang magiging result niyan, for example, let me show you a result. Questions. Wala dito. Okay, this one, groupings. So for this one, yan. I had a quick poll. My question is, sino ba yung mag-group sa kanila? Ako ba as course facilitator or sila na lang yung pipili ng groupmates nila? Then I can easily get the response of the students. So in this case, mas gusto nilang sila ang pipili ng groupmates nila kesa sa ako ang mag-a-assign ng groupings nila. So that is another tool that you can use in your interactive class. Or you can actually use Google Forms. So I know that everyone have already experienced using Google Forms kasi sa mga sa inyong mga survey or evaluation. So this is also a good tool for this one. So in creating or in using Google Forms, ito naman yung just a quick tutorial on how to use Google Forms as a quiz. So dito, if you're going to open ng Google Forms, actually ang default niya is hindi siya naka-quiz. Wait. Settings and then quizzes. So yung ating Google Forms, ang default niyan is survey form. So you can have question, for example, 1 plus 1. So you have option 2, 3. So hindi mo siya malalagyan ng answer key. But if you're going to use this one as quiz, then go again to your settings. Then under the quizzes tab, make a quiz. For example, sa evaluation ng inyong mga event, you want to have a short quiz para malaman nyo kung nakikinig ba talagang audience nyo. So, pwede kayo maglagay ng short quiz. Then, hindi ko ata na-save. Sorry. So, quizzes, make this a quiz and save. So, for example, this one, ano ang nadagdag? Nagkaroon siya ng answer key sa baba. So, once I click the answer key, I have to choose ano yung tamang sagot. Then, I can add points. For example, 2 points siya or 3 points. Then, done. So, if I'm going to preview, let's have the preview. So, for the preview, I answer 3, for example. Then, submit. Then, meron siyang view score compared to an ordinary or the default ng Google Forms, which is survey. So there are different types of exam that you can make in Google Forms. So Google Forms, pwede tayo multiple choice. Pag sinabi natin multiple choice, this is more on single answer only. Pag multiple choice, single answer. But let's say if you have more than one answer. So let's add another question. So let's say question is, let me take a look muna ng A. Cast of K-drama startup. So this one is a good K-drama because it is all about setting up business. So let's say cast ko is, so ito yung mga choices nyo. So we have the cast for this one. Let's have this one. So let's say, again, this is checkbox kasi multiple answer ang gagawin ko. You are going to use checkboxes if you have multiple answer. Multiple choice are used if you only require one answer for that question. But kung madami kang sagot, then you can use checkboxes. So let's have this one. Then we also have, let's say, yan. So say answer key, we can have multiple answer for the answer key. For this one, I will be assigning 3 points. Then you can again preview your answer. So preview. Then we have, so multiple choice as mentioned earlier, it only requires one answer. So hindi po siya pwede mag-doble. So let's say 2. Then for this one, I can have multiple answers. But let's say I only, kilala ko lang ay si Susie. Then submit. So if I view my answer, then sagot ko ay, or mali ako sa question number 2 or wala akong points kasi isa lang yung sinagutan ko. It should be lahat ng correct answer is pinili. Okay. So there are other forms again. For this one, you can also have the essay and you can check the responses of the students. So dito makikita na agad yung mga sagot ng estudyante. So kayo as teacher, future teacher, makikita nyo na agad, saan ba sila malimit magkamali? So I can check, dito pala sila sa question number 1 nagkakamali. Or most of my students are dito sa question number 1 nagkakamali or sa question number 2. Then from that, you can make another, you can analyze. Bakit ba sila nahihirapan sa question na yon? And then you can check again and review the class on that problem or on that area. For example, is nahirapan sila sa pagpili ng cast ng K-drama. So, possible kasi kukunti naman yung nanonood ng K-drama or hindi talaga nanonood sila ng K-drama. So, this is a good tool for analyzing or to analyze the result of your exam. So, per item po yung analysis. Then, you can also check the individual. So, saan ba nagkamali si student 1? And ano ba yung pinagkamalian niya? Then, you can release or choose not to release their score. Next. So, aside from Google Forms as an exam, we can also use Quiz-Is. So, kanina binanggit ko na what is Quiz-Is. So, Quiz-Is is an interactive tool para sa exam. So, I think I have an exam here, but let me just This is all about Google. So maybe we can have a sample. So this one, research one. So Google webinar. So I have a 10 question here, and let's start a live quiz. Start, yeah. So for this one, mas maganda si Google, si quiz is if you want to make short quizzes in your class. Kasi makikita agad ninyo or sabay-sabay mag-take yung mga estudyante. For those who are watching in our YouTube, can you please go to joinmyquiz.com, then enter the code 138066. Sige, ang pinakamataas dito ako ang magbibigay ng load. Bibigyan ko ng 100 pesos load ang makikiging mataas ang score dito. So this is one of introducing game also in our classes. So habang okay. So para mag-enjoy din yung mga estudyante. So remember that in one day, masyadong mahaba yung mga klase niyo in online. So medyo nakakapagod. So from time to time, you also introduce game in your class para hindi mabore yung mga estudyante. And pag-introduce ng game is mas maganda kung may natutunan sila doon sa mga games na ini-introduce natin. So meron na tayong isang player. So we'll start once we reach 20 players, or let's say 15 players. We'll start once we reach the 15 players, and yung top player natin is I'm willing to give a 100 pesos loan. Pasend lang sa akin ng number. Okay? Pero sa klase naman, syempre, hindi naman kailangan natin mag-reward ng load. Reward na nila is may natutunan sila during this game. So, 5, 6, okay, 7, 8 more, then we'll start. Okay, so we are 15. So, yung ibang gusto sumali, pwede pa po, ha? So, let me start. Okay, start. We'll have it in 2 minutes only, ha? Okay, so I'll stop the game kasi it's almost 2 minutes in 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's check. We have Reina, Angelica, and Hazel. Si Miss Reina ba yung ating host ngayon? Tama ba si Miss Reina? Okay, so dun sa first natin, message na lang po sa organizer or you can uh, chat your organizer kung sino man representative niya para maibigay sa akin yung number. Kindly inform me if it is uh, Globe or Smart. Okay, so to continue, so that is one way of uh, making exams or quizzes in our classroom. So we have the Google Forms. We also have Quiz-Is as a game. Ano ang maganda sa quiz is paulit-ulit yung question niya. So, mas mariretain sa mga estudyante yung mga questions and mas madali nila maaalala yung mga sagot ng mga sagot. Okay. Next. The next part in our interactive class strategies is using Turnitin or for anti-plagiarism. So kanina binanggit ko sa inyo that we have anti-plagiarism tools to make sure the integrity of yung mga sagot or yung mga sinasubmit or yung mga output ng mga bata. So in this example, so I'll be showing you example of the first one is the originality check of Google Classroom. So for the originality check, so for example, I'm going to create an assignment. So this is the check plagiarism or originality. So dito sa baba, let me just, they have the check plagiarism wherein it will check yung mga sinulat nyo based doon sa nasa online references or galing sa website. So let me show you an example of the result of an originality check. Originality, research proposal, topic, and let's take a look at my drive. For example, this one, this is a result of originality check result or originality report. So let me just tago lang natin yung name. So dito, kung mapapansin nyo, ipakikita sa inyo yung summary. So kung ilan yung kinopya, ilan yung kinopya ninyo sa internet and ilan yung mga sinite nyo. So kung properly cited naman siya, walang problema. But the problem is, some of our students nowadays copy and do not use citation or copy-paste lang sila, hindi sila nagsa-cite. So, eto din yun, ipakikita din kung saan kayo or saan nyo siya kinuha or saan yung website, ano yung mga website. And naka-highlight. So, eto yung student, eto yung sinulat ni student, eto naman yung kinuhanan ng website. So, the source that kung ano yung nakabold, the source of supply, the processing or treatment of the water, and distribution of water to the users. So it is also found in this website, which is NCBI, and the same text or the same passage was also found in that website. So dito, pag alam ng estudyante na subject for anti-plagiarism tool ang kanyang gawa is mas maiiwasan niyang mangopya na lang ng mangopya. And kung nangopya man siya or for example, review of related literature, so kailangan naman talaga is magbabasa tayo and from other references. So just be sure that you cite or use proper citation in your paper. So, ang biro ko nga sa mga estudyante ko before na face-to-face, kung kinopya mo yun sa kaklase mo, then give credit to your classmates. So, include mo, this is from the work of my classmate. Next. So, another tool is the Turnitin. But, Turnitin kasi, Turnitin is not a free tool. So, siya is may bayad. So, let me just log into my account. And, okay. So, I'll share another screen. Hindi ko nakita. So, sharing my screen. Okay. Wait. Yan. Because I'm sharing all my screen, my entire screen. So, for this one, this is using Turnitin. So, for example, this one. This chapter 1, let's view. So, makikita dito yung percent similarity. Kung ilang percent yung, so for chapter 1, ang required ko sa kanila is less than 10%. So, this mean na wala silang masyadong kinopya or nag-rephrase sila ng mga words nila. So, let's have an example. This one, 4%. So, the paper, for Turnitin, katulad lang din siya ng originality check. Pakikita niya, this one. Pakikita niya yung mga sources and ano yung mga kinopya or na kopya na site sa nakita sa iyong paper na katulad din sa ibang paper. So this one, the conceptual framework, that is 4%. So, nasa iyo as teacher, syempre makikita mo, i-decide mo, yan ba kinopyang kopya talaga? So, for this one, pwede naman natin siyang i-accept pa yung kanyang sentence. Baka nagkaparehas lang yung pag-construct nila ng sentence. But pwede pa rin natin i-recommend for rephrasing para hindi siya magkaroon ng similarity. Okay. Stop sharing. Another one is, so I think that is for anti-plagiarism tool. Let me go back to my slide. Slide interactive class. Okay. So that is for the anti-plagiarism tools and some example of interactive activities. So for that one, I'll be ending this presentation, but I would like everyone, or I would like na magtanong kayo if you have any questions or clarifications so I allotted almost 40-50 minutes para sa question and answer natin. Kasi mas maganda kung kayo mismo magre-raise ng question sa akin so that I can discuss it. Okay? So, Miss Host. So again, thank you for listening to my presentation. Miss Host?
Yan, thank you so much po for an informative discussion, Engineer Janice. Sobrang dami naming natutunan, and also, honestly, so ngayon ko lang nalaman yung ibang tools, and so ngayon ko lang po talaga nalaman yung iba. And sobrang nakaka-enjoy siya. Yan, so super magiging effective talaga siya kung gagamitin natin as teaching strategy. So yan, it was indeed knowledgeable and we learned a lot. So with that, I know that some of you prepared some questions for clarification and for additional information. I am now opening our chat box and comment section for queries and clarifications. So to our dear viewers, you may now comment your questions. So, habang inintay po natin ang ating viewers to ask questions, pwede po siguro na mag-promote muna kami ng iba't ibang projects ng ating sponsor organization. So, let us start. Projects from the Teacher Education Student Council. So we have the donation drive. Its title was already revised into Edonation Drive 2020, which aims to help the affected families of Typhoon Rolly and Kinta. We are encouraging everyone to please donate and be part of this project. They accept cash and in-kind donations. Next, we have TED Talk. This TED Talk is an ongoing educational TikTok tutorial that aims to teach young minds and develop the professional qualities of future educators. With hashtag Halina't Magpatuto, it will rampage the platform with educational content. So come on and register now. Meanwhile, Planting on Vlog series is also an ongoing project of TESC. The vlogs to be submitted were eco-friendly, and it aims to produce more plantitos and plantitas and help regain a clean and green dream. So come on and join now. So next we have projects from Educators Circle. The first one we have Ihandog. So last January 2020, the world was shocked by the spread of coronavirus disease. Due to this, restrictions on movement remain in place, including for children who are generally not allowed to go outside their homes. To help the Department of Education, teachers, parents, and learners, the organization will gather school supplies, books, writing and reading materials to aid children from a selected school in learning, especially at this time of pandemic. You can drop off your donations at the address flashed on your screen. And lastly, they have Ridiculous Imagination. Through Ridiculous Imagination, the organization is to create virtual storytelling at the end of every month. It aims to provide children a meaningful and fun experience through storytelling that can strengthen each child's reading skills, vocabulary, comprehension, and imagination with English and Filipino. Furthermore, the activity will be streamed on various online platforms such as Facebook, Google Meet, and YouTube. So I think we can go back now to our comments section and chat box. So do we have any other questions? I think siguro nag-iisa pa po ang ating audience kung ano pa po dahil So a comment po from Miss Hazel Ann Dote. Thank you daw po for such an informative and super informative daw po na mga shinare nyo, lalo na po ang tools. Totoo naman po. So, habang nag-iintay tayo, I think, can I ask po a question from me? From me myself po. So,
Sige.
kasi po, di ba, we all know naman po na, syempre, there are still students po na nagko-cope pa din po sa mga online strategies ganyan. Ano po kaya yung maa-advise nyo sa students na medyo hindi pa po sila masyadong magaling sa computer and hindi pa po sila masyadong literate? Kasi, di ba po, yung changes naman po ng technology natin ay parang on process pa. So, meron po talagang student na hindi masyadong makasabay kasi medyo nahihirapan sila to access kung paano ba ito, paano ba yan. So, yun po.
Okay. For that one, I think is that burden is more on us as teacher. Ang question kasi diyan is, if you're going to conduct an activity, dapat iniisip mo, lahat ba ng estudyante is makakagawa ng activity mo. For example, let's say gusto ko ng group activity. So, nag-group activity ako, but then, hindi naman lahat is naka-laptop. So, I have to think another activity na pwedeng i-access din nila sa phone. For example, another is, I want to make them sketches and gusto ko sa Jamboard. But then that is not possible for cellphone kasi medyo maliit. So maybe I can tell them that they can use pen and paper, then take a picture of that sketch, then upload the picture. So, with the technology is, kasi nga hindi pa lahat, or let's face it na hindi lahat is prepared with this change, with especially with the online learning. So dapat you as a future teacher and kami as a teacher na ngayon is iniisip na rin namin ano ba yung mga activities talaga. So meron talaga mga activities na hindi pwedeng ipagawa kahit gusto mong gawin. For example, nakita ko magandang tools na to. Maganda itong, let's say merong MATLAB. MATLAB is a programming tool. Meron siyang online. But then, hindi ko pwede siyang i-required sa students because some of the students is walang laptop and it requires laptop in programming. So maybe I can use other platform that same din yung gusto ko or yung objective ko na matuto sila ng programming. So pwede akong gumamit ng ibang platform na mas mababa ang requirement or specs and can be used to both in mobile and both in laptop, mobile phone. So more on sa teacher talaga siya. Mag-iisip ka talaga paano mo ipapagawa ang activity na to na lahat sila is pwedeng gumamit or pwedeng makagawa. Okay? Did I answer your question, Ms. Triana?
Yes po. Thank you so much. So I think we have question po yan from our YouTube live. So good afternoon, ma'am. What platform or app po can you suggest in conducting an online quiz bee po?
Okay. So, depende sa quiz bee mo. If you're going to have the quiz, pwede kasi na nakasync siya or naka-online meeting talaga, katulad nito na pwedeng i-flash nila yung answer nila. So that is the safest thing na pwede niyong gawin. So pwede sila sabay-sabay na magpakita ng sagot nila. Or if you're going to have a platform, you can use Quiz-Ease. Pero isaset lang natin or ibibigay mo lang yung code para doon sa mga kasali. But then I think sa Quiz-Bee, pwede din ang Google Forms and one question at a time ang pagbibigay mo. So hindi sabay-sabay. But I think the best is using also, I think sa Discord, they can share screen. Pwedeng sabay-sabay mag-share ng screen. So, pwede ding Discord ang gamitin. Mas maganda yung pinakikita agad kesa sa Quiz-Ease or sa Google Forms. So, you can use Discord or ano pa ba yung Discord. Nakalimutan ko yung isang app na pwede pang gamitin. Sige, balikan ko mamaya yun, ha?
So, ayan, Miss Janelle Punong Bayan, ay sana po nasagot ni Engineer ang inyong question. So, I have here po sa Facebook, ayaw niya pong magpaalala. So, here's the question po. Good afternoon, Engineer. Any tips to effectively manage different online platforms to ensure that your students will use these platforms for academic purposes only? For example, students using Jamboard to catch up with their classmates.
Okay, so how to ensure na gagamitin niya talaga in academic and first is, gaya ng sabi ko kanina, use a platform na applicable sa lahat. Then if that platform is applicable sa lahat, Google Jamboard kasi is hindi natin may iwasan, lalo na pag mga bata, especially for example, elementary. I'll be using elementary. Same thing that happened to us earlier. So I allow you to edit the Jamboard. And kung mapapansin nyo, yung iba nag-sketch, yung iba is naglalagay. So hindi natin talaga makokontrol yun, part na yun. So maybe, you have to discuss to your students that this Jamboard should contain your kung ano yung mga nire-require mo. So, ikaw na yung magsaset ng limit. So, for example, in my class, sinasabi ko na agad sa kanila that you are going to use this Jamboard in your brainstorming. So, dapat na makikita ko diyan yung mga ideas ninyo, hindi yung mga uh, other activities or extracurricular activities not related to their topic. Okay?
Thank you so much for that, engineer. I think we again have here sa YouTube from Angela May De Castro. Good afternoon. What top can you advise for those students who wants to enhance their creativity in using different tools online?
I think you should concentrate in one tool first. For example, in my case kasi, when we shifted from face-to-face to online. So, medyo hirap din as faculty mag-adjust kasi hindi rin namin alam paano kami mag-start. So, what I did, since in-inform kami ng school that mayroon kaming G Suite account, nag-concentrate lang ako sa Google products. I even take trainings about Google products, and I also take certification on Google Educator. So I took the 2 educator certification. So I concentrate only on one product, Google muna. So hindi ako naghahalo-halo. Pag kasi pinaghalo-halo mo, nag-aral ka ng Google, tapos meron ka pa ulit Microsoft, then medyo malilito. Kahit ikaw mismo as teacher, malilito na alin ba dapat ang gagamitin ko. So just concentrate on one, and isipin mo na lang kung paano mo siya magagamit na mas maayos sa iyong activity or to be used as tool in your learning or teaching strategy.
Ayun, ay sana po nasagot ulit ni Engineer ang inyong question. Thank you so much, Angela, for that question. We have again post from Facebook from Joannalyn Cuenca. Thank you so much po, Engineer Janice Peralta, for your informative talk. If we are in a normal situation where face-to-face classes are still the mode of learning, what are some interactive strategies which you think is the most applicable? For instance, those which will not need the use of laptop or internet connection.
Okay, for face-to-face is group activities. Then, let them, in your class mismo, sa classroom mismo, doon sila magbre-brainstorm. So, you don't need any electronic gadget. You just need a pen and paper and your brain for exchange of ideas with your group mates. So, simple pen and paper. You can use whiteboard and any other tools para lang maipakita or post-it. So, in my class in Introduction to Engineering last SEM or last school year, because we are face-to-face, I require my student to bring Manila paper, post-it, or they can bring post-it and sa wall, yung wall ang ginagamit namin. Wall mismo ng classroom ang ginagamit namin kung saan nila i-stick yung mga ideas nila. Kasi pag sa paper, masyadong maliit. So, they use the wall to stick their ideas and to share it to their group mates. But then, nung nag-shift from face-to-face, nag-shift tayo ng online, I use Jamboard. Jamboard naman ang pinagamit ko sa kanila. Same thing, they have the wall, which is the jam, and they use the sticky notes to express their ideas. And they can use the Google Meet kung gusto nilang mag-usap para sa brainstorming nila, Google Chat, Facebook Messenger, kung gusto nilang mag-usap-usap. Okay?
Thank you po. There's another question po ata from Angela May De Castro po ulit. What tip can you advise or share for those students who wants to enhance their creativity in using various tools online for their presentation?
For their presentation, okay, sige. Okay, sige. Sagutin ko to. For their presentation, it depends on ano yung gusto mong i-present. If you can use the slides or the PowerPoint, normal presentation. But if you want to make it, let's say, more interactive with students, gusto niyo mag 3D, meron din mga software na available or meron ding site. You can actually use the Tinkercad kung gusto niyo ng mga 3D. For us, for example, gusto niyo ipakita siya na hindi lang two-dimensional yung drawing nyo. Gusto nyo three-dimensional yung drawing nyo. So, you can use Tinkercad. It is a free online. So, website siya na pwede kayo mag-create ng mga 3D. So, I think that is one. You can also use Canva. So, I think gamit na gamit ngayon si Canva, canva.com, for your infographics, other mga materials na more on sa pictures that requires images. So, Canva is a good site also.
Okay, thank you so much po. And thank you din po kay Miss Angela May de Castro for that question. And I hope na nasagot naman siya. So as of now, ay nag-aabang pa din po ulit tayo ng other questions pa. Siguro we can wait po kasi baka nagkakapost po sila ng question.
Miss Reyna, ikaw ba yung nag-top 1 kanina?
Opo. Sabi ko,
parang alam mo na.
Hindi ko po ano.
Anyway, masasaulo mo naman kasi yung sagot. Paulit-ulit siya. Okay, thank you din sa audience natin.
Thank you daw po galing kay Miss Joanna Lynn, ang isa pong nagtanong sa atin kanina.
Okay, welcome.
Gising na gising pa po si Sir Ivan the Great dahil nag-hashtag learn more, achieve more siya. So guys, kung may question pa kayo, you can post, or kung ayaw yung magpakilala and nahihiya kayo, pwede nyo namang i-PM ang ating mga... So yan, from Ria Perez. Thank you, Engineer Janice, for gracing our webinar. God bless you daw po.
Thank you po.
Guys,
anong course mo, Miss? Ako naman magtatanong. Anong course mo, Miss Reyna?
Education din po. Secondary. So, English major.
Why? Bakit education?
And yun po talaga yung first choice ko ever since elementary hanggang mag-high school. Hindi po talaga nagbago yung choice ko. Though sa family namin, wala naman pong teacher. Ay, meron po isa lang. Pero parang hindi ko naman po nakuha sa kanya. So, I think education po talaga ang akin. Guys, question pa. Grab na natin ng opportunity na nandito si Engineer. Minsan lang to. Nag-aabang din po message. Ayan, meron na pong isa from Facebook po ulit. So, good afternoon, Engineer. What are your advice to teachers who are not used who are not used to applying online platforms in their teaching pedagogy?
For teachers, mahirap po talaga mag-apply ng online sa ating teaching pedagogy. So, I understand that some of the faculty members or some of the teachers talaga is nahihirapan din talaga. So, kasi kahit ako, although nag-start kami last midterm is nagturo na kami, meron na rin kaming online class. Until now is nandun pa rin ako sa adjustment period na iniisip ko lahat ba sila na naiintindihan itong itinuturo ko. So I think for those na medyo nahihirapan, isang advice na mai-suggest ko is make use of OERs. So, open education resources. Kasi there are already, meron ng mga ready-made na mga tutorials or lessons about dun sa ituturo natin. So, pwede naman tayong gumamit na nun. So, kasi mahabang time din yung gugugulin natin kung tayo mismo yung gagawa pa. So, we can use and add our remix, our own lessons. Then, another is, wag na natin, as a teacher, wag din natin masyadong stress ang sarili natin. Wag nating isipin na dapat is ito yung gagamitin ko kasi ito maganda based dito sa mga reviews and so on. So, gamitin natin or let's concentrate on one tool muna. Then, pag kabisado na natin yung tool na yon, saka tayo mag-try ng iba. So, wag tayong mag-try ng sobrang dami na lahat na lang ng nabalitaan nating tool gusto nating itry. Pag meron tayo nabalitaan sa co-faculty natin, maganda pala to, itry din natin. So, wala kasi tayong magandang tool na magagamit pag ganun. So, let us concentrate on one tool. Then, pag kabisado na, then you can go to another tool. Another is conduct synchronous teaching. Kasi it's like you are also having face-to-face. And always have an open communication with your students. So, hindi naman siguro masama ngayon na allow natin yung mga estudyante na i-chat tayo or i-message tayo if they have problems with our lecture. So, kung halimbawa sa tingin nyo is medyo hindi pa rin tayo masyadong, kasi let's face it, lalo na yung iba, yung medyo may edad na, is medyo hirap sila sa gadget. So, maybe they can use other forms like simpleng text. So, pwede naman siguro mag-accept sila ng text. But let us also set limit with our students. Dapat clear din sa mga estudyante na I can only accept or I can only reply to you within this day, within this time of the day. From 8 to 5, makakapag-reply ako sa'yo. Every Monday to Friday, makakapag-reply ako ng 8 to 5. But you can chat or text beyond that time. Pero do not expect na magre-reply agad ako sa'yo ng this oras ng gabi. So, we can also set limit, dapat mag-set din tayo ng limit sa ating mga estudyante. And same thing with the students. Wag naman yung this oras ng gabi, feeling nyo kasama nyo sa overnight si na ma'am. Biglang may naisip, ay naku, tatanong ko pala kay ma'am. So, although, ngayon kasi talagang ganun ang nangyayari. Yung, hindi ko naintindihan ito, ako nagre-review ng alauna ng madaling araw, ma-text kaya si ma'am. Ma'am, ano nga po sagot dito? Diba? So, I think some of you are guilty talaga dyan. So, wag nyo namang i-expect na magre-reply din agad ng this oras ng gabi. Diyan.
Yun, thank you so much po. As of now, wala pa din ulit na nag-ask. I think we can wait po kahit 2 more or 5 more minutes. Baka may hahabol pa mag-ask. So guys, kung may questions pa kayo, huwag na kayong mahiya. Super approachable naman ni engineer. So we have another question po from unknown po ulit. Good afternoon, engineer. How do you ensure that students practice honesty during the online mode of learning?
Okay. So, honesty during online is mahirap po talaga. But for an exam, you cannot use the same exam na ginagamit mo during face-to-face. Kasi nababantayan mo sila. So, you have to check again yung pagtatanong mo. yan ba mga question mo is madaling i-google na pag kinapi-paste at pinost kay Google is nandyan agad ang sagot. So, kung ganun ang question mo, then kahit ikaw mismo, tinitrigger mo yung mga estudyante, di ba, na ay, nasa Google pala to, isa-search na lang namin. So, for me, I think yung set of questions. So, babaguhin ko yung set of questions na hindi agad madaling mahahanap. Although for some talaga, mahirap po talaga kasi may mga questions talaga na, for example, definition, hindi naman natin mababago yun. So maybe I can use another tool on that. For example, is quiz is. Kasi that is live. So you have no time para makapag-search pa sa Google. Another is for essay type of questions, use anti-plagiarism para ma-ensure mo na pag alam kasi ng estudyante na i-check yan or papasok yan sa anti-plagiarism tool, sila mismo oobligahin nila yung sarili nila hindi mangopya. Kasi alam nila na mahuhuli ka ng teacher pag nangongopya ka. Another is you can also have an online quiz mismo. So, for example is, i-flash mo via Zoom or Google Meet yung question mo. Then, on live yung pagsasagot ng mga bata. So, another way para not really to ensure yung honesty ng estudyante but the integrity of the yung sagot ng mga bata. Kasi yung honesty, depende sa estudyante eh. So, yung integrity ng sinasubmit nila, doon tayo mag-check siguro kung talagang sila ba ang gumawa nun. And if you have, always have feedback para naman yung mga estudyante, hindi sila mahihiya na mag-submit agad kasi alam nila binabasa. Kasi, for example, for face-to-face, magpapa-essay yung mga teachers, sasabihin ng mga estudyante, ay, hindi naman yung binabasa ni ma'am, at ang dami-dami chachika ni ma'am. So, hindi na nila, kinokopya na lang nila. So, pag online, you can easily give them feedback. So, although hindi binabasa po at chinecheck po talaga ng mga estudyante, ng mga teacher ang mga essay, hindi ko po sinasabi hindi siya binabasa. Binabasa po namin yan kahit no face-to-face. So, pag online kasi nabibigyan mo agad sila ng feedback, then makikita nila na may effort ka. So, makikita din nila agad yung mali nila. Another is other tool for the integrity of your exams or your subjects, of your assessment. I think isa sa ginagamit ko sa klase ko is yung self and peer assessment. Although dito kasi makikita mo kung sino talaga yung pag yung kaklase na niya nag-grade. Pag hindi talaga nagawa yung ka-group nila, binababaan talaga nila ng marka. And alam nila na ikaw lang naman yung makakakita ng kanilang result ng assessment na yon. So, okay lang sa kanila na magbaba ng marka. Just be sure na hindi mo na kailangang i-post sa klase na, ito yung result, ito ang grade sa iyo ng iyong kagrupo, kaya ikaw ay mababa. So, dapat ikaw lang talaga yung nakakabasa ng mga results. And for some LMS, learning management system, meron din silang mga feature na hindi ka pwedeng mag-tab. Hindi ka rin pwede mag-copy-paste. So, I think that is one tool para ma-ensure na yung ikaw talaga nagsasagot. Other tool is from time to time, you have to send pictures to your teacher para masabi na ikaw talaga ang nagawa ng iyong work and so on. And I think nasa estudyante din yun na nasa iyo na ikaw ba is okay lang ba sa'yo na pumasa ka ng hindi mo talaga naintindihan ng isang lesson? Or are you willing or mas okay sa'yo na mababa ang grade mo, but then alam mo naman na naiintindihan mo and sa'yo talaga yung answer na yon. So, I think nasa estudyante din yun. Kasi kahit anong gawing higpit ni teacher, hindi talaga namin kayo mababantayan. So, tiwala rin lang sa estudyante.
So yun, I think naman nasagot talaga ni Engineer ang question mo kung sino ka man. Thank you so much for that question. So I think we can have one last question na lang. So kung sino yung may gustong magtanong pa, check. Any other questions pa po ba from our viewers? Meron pa po yatang hahabol na isa pa. Sige po, habang naghihintay tayo, interviewin muna natin si Engineer. Ano pong tinuturuan niyo engineer na mga students? Like course po or program?
I am teaching electronics engineering, mechatronics, and instrumentation and control. So, ngayong STEM na to, level is first year and third year level. But usually, yung mga higher years na talaga yung tinuturuan.
Medyo challenging po siguro magturo ng engineer students.
Mas challenging magturo ng first year student compared sa higher level. Because first year kasi nasa transition kasi sila ng from senior high and to college. So yung kakulitan nila is nandyan pa rin at para talaga silang mga bata pa rin. Compared sa mga higher years, yung mga yan kasi is medyo madami nang napag-adadaanan. Especially yung mga graduating, madami na sila napagdaanan. So, hindi na sila masyadong makukulit at medyo na-stress na sila sa dami ng ginagawa nila.
I think, meron po ulit tayong question. Dalawa po. So, I think this will be the last questions na lang po. So, yung first question po ay, do you think po that the online delivery of learning offers students the same quality of education from the face-to-face mode of learning?
The quality of education, I think, yes. But for some students kasi is mas preferred pa rin kasi nila ang face-to-face. So, in the point of view of a faculty, we try to make sure that yung quality of education is same with whether it is face-to-face or whether it is online. Same dapat yung quality na ibinibigay namin sa mga estudyante. But for the side of the student, medyo subjective kasi yon. Kasi merong estudyante na madali siya makapick up. Pwede siyang mag-self-study, pwede siya matuto agad sa kahit sa mga tutorials and sa YouTube. But for some students talaga, medyo mahirap sa kanila ang naka-online at mas preferred talaga nila ang face-to-face. With that with that kasi siguro isipin nila hindi talaga hindi iba ang quality ng education kasi hindi talaga ako masyado matuto. So siguro yun is sa magkaibang point of view. Pero sa mga faculty, sa teacher, we ensure or we make sure that we have the same quality. Kung ano yung dapat matutunan ng mga bata sa whether it is face-to-face or online, dapat maibigay namin. For example, ito yung objective ko, ito dapat ang learning outcomes ko for this semester para sa subject na to. So at the end of the semester, dapat na-achieve ng mga estudyante ko itong outcomes ko. Whether kung ano mang strategy, possible magbawas ako ng topic or mag-concentrate ako sa ganitong topic para ma-achieve nila yung learning outcome. So same pa rin dapat yung education. But sa point, sabi ko nga sa inyo, sa point of view ng student, yung iba kasi mas nahihirapan sila. Kasi I also have, meron kasi mga pamangkin and ay nakikita ko sa kanila na hirap sila sa online class. Although I know na okay sila pag sa face-to-face, but when it comes to online, nahihirapan sila. Kahit kita ko na okay naman yung delivery ng teaching ng pagtuturo ng teacher is okay naman, but nahihirapan sila kasi for example, nagbigay ng nagbigay ng activity si teacher, may time kasi na hindi mo agad matanong or hindi mo agad masabi na bakit ito ganito. Or wala ka din, hindi mo agad maipakita, matanong yung katabi mo. Unlike kung naka face-to-face kayo, katabi mo, may katabi kang nakakaintindi, pwede mo siyang chikahin habang naglaklase, huy, paano nga ito, paulit mo. Pag nasa online kasi, pag tinanong ni teacher, naintindihan yung class, syempre hindi kayo sasagot, naka-off ang camera, naka-off ang microphone nyo. So, assume ni teacher na, sige, naintindihan ng klase kasi wala silang mga tanong. But, in reality, hindi naman yung naintindihan kasi possible nagkaroon ng technical problem sa inyong side. Biglang naging choppy ang pagtuturo. O kaya naman is, medyo hirap ka talaga kasi tapos hindi mo maitanong kasi nahihiya ka sa imong kaklase. Baka ako lang hindi nakaintindi. That is the common thinking ng mga estudyante kaya ayaw nila magtanong. Kasi baka isipin, baka naman ako lang hindi nakaintindi nitong itatanong ko, baka naintindihan ng iba. But dapat kaya sa teacher side naman, ang ginagawa namin is we encourage students to ask questions. Kung hindi man kayo makapagtanong online, we accept private messages, yun nga, sabi ko sa inyo, pwede mag-message sa akin, I allow them to chat me para malaman ko saan ba sila talaga medyo naguluhan. Okay?
Thank you so much po. And for our last question, good afternoon po, Engineer Peralta. Ano po kaya ang magandang gamiting interactive online tool kung ang learners po ay elementary?
For elementary, depende kung anong year. So, kung grade 1 to 3, medyo siguro mag-slides tayo or mag-PowerPoint na may mga animation. And medyo may animation para mas madali nila maintindihan and mas malalaking picture. But for grade 4 and 4 to 6, depende kasi kung anong subject yung gusto mong ituro. So, sila kasi pwede na rin ng video, but choose a video na hindi sobrang haba. Siguro a 5-minute video is enough per topic. Or you can make a video, mas maganda kung mag-screen record ka ng gusto mo talagang ituro sa kanila. Kung i-asynchronous. Pag synchronous activity naman kasi walang problema. Pag asynchronous activities, maybe you can make a video, yung screen record mo kung ano yung gusto mong ituro sa mga batas. And for elementary, same yun nga is medyo bawasan din ang pagbibigay ng in my part lang in my kasi I have a son na grade 2. So, as much as possible, ayoko nang nanonood siya ng mga video na aabot ng mga 10 minutes. Kasi, syempre, makakasira na hindi na rin siya healthy para sa estudyante, sa bata. So, siguro yung mga topics mo, kung pwede, is i-chop-chop mo ng maliliit kung gusto mo nang gawa ng video. And, wag masyadong high-tech yung mga tools na ipagagamit mo. For example, is compared to Google Docs and Jamboard. So, siguro sa mga elementary, mas okay sa kanila ang Jamboard compared sa Docs na magta-type lang sila and so on. But for halimbawa mga high school na and kailangan na nila magawa ng mga researches, siguro pwede na mas okay na rin yung mga Google Docs. But for elementary, yung mga simpleng uh, i-click-click lang ang mga tools na mas okay sa kanila. Same thing with paggagawa ng exam. Uh, napapa, uh, Iwasan natin yung medyo nakaka-confuse na tanong sa mga estudyante. Kasi yun din yung nakikita ko. And yung sa direction, isa yun sa natutunan ko. Unlike kasi pag naka face-to-face, pwede mong ipaliwanag yung direction na eto, ganito talaga gagawin mo. Pag binigyan mo ng activity ang bata sa online, be sure na detailed yung direction mo or instruction mo. So para kahit sila hindi na malito kung ano ba yung gagawin nila. Kasi minsan yung instruction pa lang is malilito sa estudyante. Ano bang gustong ipagawa ni ma'am dito? Parang ang daming gustong ipagawa na hindi sa instruction pa lang hindi na sila naka-move on. So, or hindi na sila nakasunod na sa nakagawa ng activity. So, clear instruction for kahit anong level yung kahit sa elementary. PowerPoint or slides is better. Or you can make a video, just be sure na maiiksi lang yung video para hindi mainip yung bata at hindi mawala yung concentration niya. Siguro per topic, make it 5. Kung medyo mahaba yung topic mo, i-chop-chop mo lang yung video mo. So for example, ito lang gustong aralin, addition. So concentrate on addition. Use animation kung pwede. Marami namang may animation tool, may animation feature naman sa slides and si PowerPoint. And yun.
Thank you so much po, Engineer. So I think, okay na, nasagot na lahat ng questions. So we can now move forward to our awarding of certificate. Thank you so much for your participation and cooperation, viewers and future educators. Now let us move forward to our awarding. It was indeed a remarkable webinar and an exciting experience to all of us. And it is my pleasure to present to you the certificate of participation for your meaningful and significant contribution to this webinar series. Please allow me to read the citation. Certificate of Appreciation presented to Engineer Janice Peralta for sharing her time and effort in the La Salipa Educator Circle and Batangas State University Teacher Education Student Council's webinar entitled The Bright Side, Unleashing Possibilities through the New Normal in Education on the topic Interactive E-Classroom Strategies. Given this 28th of November 2020, held via YouTube Live. Signed by Dr. Jennifer Casabuena, Advisor of Educators Circle, Dr. Ria Perez, Advisor of TES, Dr. Ivy Gusek, Dean of College of Education Arts and Sciences of the La Salipa, Dr. Rowena Abrea, Dean of Batangas State University, PV Main, and lastly, Mr. Wilmer Adahar, Director of PLSL Student Services. Thank you so much po again, Engineer Janice, for your time. And now, may we request po our dear speaker to give out her beautiful smile for our photo opportunity. And just a reminder again to all our participants who want to join our photo contest, this is your opportunity. Take a selfie with us and post it online with our official hashtags, hashtag learn more, achieve more, and hashtag this is the bright side 2020. So, Engineer, can we request your beautiful smile? Thank you. So, ayun. I think okay na po. Thank you so much po again, Engineer, and to all our participants. We are more than grateful for our viewers, especially our beautiful speaker, for your time and effort and participation to this webinar. Now I would like also to thank Educator Circle of De La Salipa and Teacher Education Student Council of Batangas State University for bringing to us this kind of activity. I wish these organizations a good luck to all your other activities and may you create more collaboration activities like this. I also hope that each and every one of you gained new knowledge and saw different opportunities despite this situation. Dear future educators, this has been the bright side, unleashing possibilities through the new normal education. And lastly, we are encouraging each and every one of you to please accomplish the evaluation forms as seen on your screen. Please do leave your comments and suggestions in our evaluation forms on how we can improve our activities. You can choose only one link from the list provided also on the comment section on your YouTube Live. And once again, thank you so much and God bless us all. This has been your lovely host, Reynalyn Karakitan from the College of Education Arts and Sciences of Dela Salipa, now signing off.